Welcome to today's lesson on the Ruy Lopez exchange variation, Hector Gambit, Part 2. In Part 1, we studied the Queen h4 pressure line. Today we continue with the direct f6 line. White plays e4, taking space in the center and opening lines for the queen and bishop. Black answers e5, meeting White's central claim directly. Knight f3 develops with tempo by attacking the e5 pawn. Knight c6 develops and protects the e5 pawn. Bishop b5 begins the Ruy Lopez by putting pressure on the knight that supports e5. Black plays a6, asking the bishop to make a decision. Bishop takes c6. White gives up the bishop to alter black's pawn structure. The d-pawn takes c6. Black accepts doubled pawns in return for open lines and the bishop pair. White castles kingside. This is the main line choice for today's lesson. Bishop g4 pins the knight and begins the setup that can lead to the Hector Gambit. White plays h3, immediately asking the bishop where it intends to stay. Bishop h5 keeps the pin and remains active on the diagonal. White plays g4. White gains kingside space and prepares to capture on e5, but the king shelter becomes more exposed. Bishop g6 keeps the bishop alive and invites White to prove that the advanced pawns are worth the risk. Knight takes e5. This is the Hector Gambit starting position. White wins a pawn, while Black receives targets around the exposed kingside. Part 1 covered Queen h4. This lesson studies f6, the direct challenge to the knight. Bishop d6 remains for the next lesson. Black plays f6, asking the knight on e5 to decide before White consolidates the extra pawn. Knight c4 is a possible retreat. White preserves the knight, but Black also preserves the active bishop on g6. Queen d7 prepares queenside castling and increases the pressure on White's advanced kingside pawns. Returning to the position after f6, White can choose to remove Black's important bishop. Knight takes g6. White gives up the central post to remove Black's active dark-squared bishop. The h-pawn takes g6. Black loses the bishop, but gains an open h-file and attacking resources against White's king. King g2 connects the rook to the h-file and gives the king a practical defensive square. Queen d7 prepares queenside castling, watches g4, and keeps Black's plan flexible. White plays d3, reinforcing the center and opening a path for the dark-squared bishop. Black castles queenside. The kings now stand on opposite wings, and Black can attack White's loosened kingside. Knight c3 develops and supports central counterplay. White must be ready to hit back rather than only defend. Black plays g5, fixing White's kingside pawns and taking away useful dark squares. White plays e5, challenging Black in the center before the kingside bind becomes comfortable. Knight e7 keeps Black coordinated and prepares routes toward g6 or d5. Returning to the position after g5, White has another active way to challenge Black's setup. White plays f4, trying to open lines before Black's pressure along the h-file grows. The g-pawn takes f4. Black accepts an open position and creates a new target on f4. Bishop takes f4. White recovers the pawn while developing the bishop to an active square. Bishop d6 challenges White's active bishop and helps Black simplify the attacking position. Bishop takes d6. White removes Black's active bishop before it can contribute further. Queen takes d6. Black's queen becomes centralized and the position remains dynamically balanced in practical terms. Returning to the position after Black castles long, White can develop the knight to a different square. Knight d2 keeps the c-pawn free and prepares routes toward f3 or c4. Black again plays g5. The strategic question remains whether white can open the position before black fixes the king side. Knight f3 brings the knight toward the center and adds another defender around white's king. Knight e7 prepares to improve toward g6 or h4 while keeping black's pieces coordinated. Compared with part 1, black does not begin with queen h4. This line is more direct: challenge the knight, open the h-file, castle long, and fix the king side. For black, challenge the knight, open the h-file, castle long, and attack the fixed pawns. For white, use active central or king side breaks instead of only defending. The key lesson in the f6 branch is speed. Black challenges the knight, opens the h-file, castles queen side, and fixes white's king side. White should answer with active counterplay through e5 or a timely f4 break.